Tales from a Rural Police Officer by UnLuckyKenTucky. I'm an old man now, recently diagnosed with a terminal illness and given less than 6 months to live. I've had no children, though my dear wife and I wanted to so badly. She was eaten up with a cancer before she was 25, and had to have surgery that removed all of her female organs. They took the playground but left the slide, so to speak. When I was 23, I went to a police academy in Louisville, Kentucky. I graduated with honors at the top of my class and was assigned a post in a tiny rural town that shall remain unnamed. I will not reveal the name of the town, the county, nor the true names of the suspects herein. I wanted to tell these stories to someone for years, but I was worried about the NDAs I signed when I took the assignment. What are they going to do to me now? Eat me? Take my birthday? Hell, I don't have a hope of seeing my next birthday anyway. I'll try and follow the post rules for this forum as well as I can, but some of the stories I have to tell aren't long enough to constitute a full post, and some are related. So, without further procrastination, here are my stories of a patrol in a rural area. My first strange call was out in May of '77. I was parked at a local truck stop, watching for speeders and irresponsible drivers alike. My God, it was a hot day. I was sweating like Satan's nutsack. I remember right before the radio cracked to life, things seemed to change. I went from being just plain hot and sweaty to being overwhelmed with a type of primal panic. When the static broke through, I thought I'd shit myself for fuck's sake.
Car 75, come in.
Car 75, copy.
Car 75, dispatch has you parked at a local truck stop. Is that your current 20?
Yes, dispatch, that's my 20. Over.
Good. We just received a call from an anonymous citizen that claimed to see a black big rig speeding down the road towards the old coal mine. Said the truck was all over the road and nearly ran over a school bus. Reports that the rig has some type of big bulldog hanging in the windscreen as an identifier. Would you roll up to the mine and report?
Copy that, dispatch. I rolled the cruiser to the mine. Lights only, speeding and driving safe at the same time. So I know that can be done, okay? I didn't ever stop anyone for just speeding. Anyway, I turned down the rural highway 3356 to the old Dolma mine. I was about a mile up that road when I saw the smoke coming from a rig. He had to have absolutely been rolling coal. There were 4-foot columns of black smoke billowing from the stacks of the old mag. I closed the gap between the two of us and flipped the siren on, trying to get the driver to slow down and pull over. The road was too narrow for me to get to his side, so I couldn't force his ass off the road, and my presence behind him didn't seem to affect his speed. I looked to the driver's door to try and identify the driver, but the windows were as black as paint. At one point, we were traveling at 95 miles an hour down a 1.5-lane highway, with no way for another vehicle to pass. I called to dispatch and told them to please close the road at the other end. It took 3 minutes for 2 other cruisers to go the short way around town and block the road. Now, we don't know if any other vehicles managed to turn onto this road in that time. So, it's a bobtailing Mack sleeper cab, and a police cruiser traveling almost 100 miles an hour down a twisty, hilly road in the middle of fucking nowhere. The only damn thing on this road was a trailer park, and we already flew by that, and a mine site that had been shut down last year. That we were traveling towards. Very few homes were on that road that time, thankfully. During the pursuit, dispatch advised I was granted permission to immobilize the rig if possible. I unholstered my service revolver and steadied it out the window at the outermost rear left wheel. All 6 shots hit the tire. I watched it swell and distort each time, but it never even slowed the driver down. I reported to dispatch and was told to refrain from further aggression and to drop my speed to match legal limit, since the guy had nowhere to go. I hated to do it, but an order is an order. I backed off the throttle and allowed the truck to pull ahead. It slowed down too. I shook my head. I remember thinking something along the lines of, "Oh, this bastard is pissing me off now." As a side note, back then it was not rare for cops and the good old boys to rough each other up during an arrest. It was almost expected with certain subjects. I will admit, I planned to warm this fucker's head. He could have killed the kids on that bus. He would have killed any car travelling in the opposite direction on that road. As the pair of us slowed down, the black smoke emanating from the stacks took on a different quality. They shimmered like a heat-induced mirage. It was odd. As they shimmered, I felt myself being drawn to the shapes and shit. I had to fight to remain in control of my vehicle. At one point, about 100 yards from the old mine entrance, the truck dipped down on a hill, and for less than a second, my view of it was blocked. When I popped over the hill, it was gone. No smoke, no wreck. It didn't skid off the road, it didn't pull off and hide. It was just fucking gone. Car 75 to dispatch, over.
Car 75, this is dispatch.
Dispatch report. The subject from the pursuit on 3356 has vanished. Repeat, the big rig is gone.
Car 75, the units at the end of the road haven't reported seeing the truck, but have reported hearing it tearing through the mine. Over.
Dispatch, that's impossible. We haven't got that far as of yet.
Car 75, check and respond. Over.
I sped to the mine entrance. Since the place had closed down, they installed one of those swinging iron gates at the entrance. It had been crushed in. The damage was old and already heavily rusted, so I know it wasn't the Mac. I proceeded to travel through the gravel road, up the hill to the plateau of the mountain, where the strip mine was. The road twisted and turned their way up with several switchbacks, each at a 90-degree angle. No way a rig could speed up there. And hell, it was all I could do to turn my boat over forward and not have to back up and take another stab. I reached the plateau, and sitting against the edge of the dig, where the mining company lost the coal, crushed against the rock, was an old, rusted rig. It looked as though it had been rolled down the mountain and had been towed up there and placed out of the way. I stopped my cruiser and got out to inspect. As I got closer, I could tell the truck had burned. Most of the paint was fine and replaced by a couple of years of rust. I approached the driver's side of the mangled cab and was amazed to find the door open. The door jambs hadn't burned the paint off, and black as the coal dust I walked on. I stared at the wreckage for a moment, and that's when I saw it. A big silver MacDog flat emblem hanging from the top of the cab. Dispatch rolled the other two cars to my 20 when I didn't reply to the radio calls. They found me crouched beside the cab, staring at the blob of metal that I still have. I know what I saw was a bulldog, but when they arrived, it was a misshapen blob of rusty aluminum. Nobody knew what to make of the call-out, or the situation. We eventually reported the rig got away. Later that year, I would learn the truck driver rolled his truck with twin buckets of coal off the side of the mountain one day. 8 years before I chased him down that road. I guess he makes the trip once a year. I was called out for it the next year, but didn't bother to speed after him. I just drove to the mine and placed a silver bulldog on the rusted hook. I'm tired, guys. I've got better stories, but that one weighs on me for some reason. Maybe it's the fact I've seen that truck parked on my farm. Maybe it's old age and cancer. But it weighs on me nonetheless.